Hello, chat. Welcome to the. Oh God, I still have the. Ooh, hold on, I gotta fix the sound here. Ugh. There we go. Fixed. Fixed, chat. Anyways, welcome, guys. It's 6:00 and 6:15 our time. Yeah, little late. Gonna have to suffer, because that is why you are here, but to suffer. Anyways, chat. Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got some more Kieran Reid stuff. And it's not just what Mark Bederow dropped. But it's also the reactions of Alan Jackson and regarding Kelly Dever or whatever the hell her name is. Like I said, she don't rate me knowing exactly how to pronounce her name because she's a turd. So I don't care if I get her name right or wrong. She's a lying whore of a cop. That's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me at this point. We'll be going over that as well. But Mark Bederow drops a fucking bomb on the Norfolk County DA's office. Like, oh, I already read this, and you're just like, ooh, buddy, just coming in hot on these guys. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. It is so good, chat. It's like, oh my God, Becky, this letter is so big. It must be like one of those rap guys' letters. It is just, this is, and it involves this letter from Mark Bederow focuses on one of the people we already know, and we've known previous to the Kieran Reid saga, Kate Peter, also known as Krusty Panties. And guys, I do remember that, yes, at the time, Kate Peter was somebody who was dealing with Chili DeCastro. So you know what? She was fighting the good fight, dealing with Chili and his scumbaggery. But as with most things in life, you could be the villain 1 minute, the hero 1 minute, and the villain the next. And Kate's no different. Because while Kate didn't get along with Turtleboy, and that was something we didn't fully know the story of, we now know of an entirely different saga. Now the Kieran Reid saga, and where, Kate Peters is a complete scumbag. Complete fucking scumbag. And if you guys don't know who Kate is, she has been a fundamental part, and I'd say probably the nucleus of the anti-Kieran Reid movement. I think it's probably the best way to describe it. And if you guys have never seen Kate before, you just probably didn't realize who she was. But anyways, Kate and Turtleboy go back really, really, really far. It's it's something that they have a history. They have a history here, and this is this is part of, Kate is part of the gaggle of lunatics that are part of this universe at this point. And before we get too far, guys, welcome to the show. I'm Sean, also known as Potential Criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And yeah, we're going to get into Kate Peter. And she looks like every other Dark Age Karen who's a cunt. Yeah, well, if you guys don't know, this is Kate Peter, also known as Krusty Panties. And she is just an insufferable woman. You guys have seen her before. And like I said, you just probably didn't recognize who she is. But this is Kate. This is Kate. You've probably seen her wearing, leading the Justice for John O'Keefe. And it's interesting how the Justice for John O'Keefe people, they had their own coordinated shirts and they had coordinated signs. Yeah, manufactured crowdsourcing. And this is Kate, and up close, she's not a good-looking person, but I understand Turtleboy and her have a history. But yes, Kate is a complete fucking loon. She is famous for trolling Cyrax and pretending to be a child and seeing Cyrax attempting to lure that child into sharing nude images. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, she's done some funny things. She's done some historical things and lore-based things on the internet. But this is Kate. She is part of this cabal of fucking weirdos that are on the internet. And she's been around before. And she is You know, if you guys have never, that's actually a better picture of her right here. This is a better picture of Kate. I mean, like that schnoz, you could chisel granite with that. You know, that's what when they were making the tunnel boring machine for the English Channel, they took like a scan of her nose and cut the grinder heads, and that was just chiseling away right there. And ultimately, you can find, and this is where I've learned about some of these people. These are, as Turtleboy says, these are a bunch of mentally unstable women. There's Kate Peter. Then this one here is Twisted Tragedies. I found out about her from some people clipping her on Twitter. Holy shit. She is like the dumbest fucking like wannabe lawyer I've ever heard in my life. Like the amount of shit that comes out of this woman's mouth is hilarious. But all these women, all the anti-Karen Reed, which is funny, the anti-Karen Reed movement is basically all women. It's basically all women. And it's also, by the way, Kate has finally blocked me on Twitter, which is an accomplishment, I think. So are they, yes, okay, the real talk, are they into Wicca or tarot cards? Probably tarot cards. So these people are just lost their goddamn mind. LCW says, I don't know that lore. Okay, so you mean the Chile de Castro war? So Chile de Castro is a sovereign citizen who's a complete lunatic. Kate was trolling the shit out of him, and at the time, you know, Chile's still a lunatic. But Kate and Chile were kind of, you know, clashing, and it got to the point where Kate and Chile ran into each other IRL in Boston, I think in like Dedham or somewhere around there in suburban Boston. And like Chile tried to file a restraining order against her, and Turtleboy was helping Chile. I think mainly because Chile was against Kate. I mean, and that was when I first learned of Turtleboy, and I was like, oh, this Turtleboy guy sounds like a fucking asshole. And it turns out actually he's a good guy, and I don't know why he got wrapped up in that, but in hindsight, yeah, I should have given him more of a fair shake as his Karen Reed stuff unfolded. But Turtleboy was the reason why I didn't want to get involved in the Karen Reed trial at first. So it's Nick and drag. No, she's at a healthier weight than Nick is. So no, it's not. So there you go. That is the basic thing here. Yes, now I sell discounted trifolds for Chili. Bella says, I made money from tarot cards while in college. Jeez. All right. All right. So with that said, that is who Kate is. And Kate has been the center and the focal point of things. If you guys could find her on Twitter, she's at Masshole Mafia. And yes, that is kind of her name if you're trying to look for her, figure out what she does there. Yes, Chili and Turtleboy are two peas in a pod. I don't think so as much as they had a common enemy, Kate. So, or the bigger question, yes, which multi-level marketing are these women in? Yes. Yes. That is true. That is very, very true. All right. So, as we know, Turtleboy has been charged with multiple counts of witness intimidation under Massachusetts' super vague statute. And remember, we've gone over this before, and there's let me see here. I gotta find this again because somebody did post it, and they did a brilliant job of breaking this down. I want to give them credit because they deserve it based on how they phrase this here. Where is? Oh, come on, it's got to pop back out. I feel bad now if I can't remember, if I can't find it anymore. Oh, hold on. I think I know where it's at. Nope, I don't have it there anymore, so that's okay. That's okay, chat. That's okay. That's okay. I'm trying to remember who put this together here, but this goes over the Turtleboy witness intimidation. This is from a Twitter account, Marbury versus Mad. And that's obviously Marbury versus Madison. They're kind of making fun of there. And this is shows you the insanity of Massachusetts's the insanity of how vague their statute is. And this is, and actually, hold on, we're going to show their account first. I did find it. I saved the note in the file. This is Marbury versus Madison. Marbury versus Mad. I just wanted to give them credit for what they did here on this, because this is an interesting thing here. This is the Massachusetts Witness Intimidation Statute. So how does this work? Well, we're going to do this, guys. This is how this works here. So the first thing, element 1, everything. Whoever directly or indirectly, okay. You have to do then bad conduct. But if it's directly or indirectly, meaning it's everything you could do. The bad conduct is you threaten physical injury, emotional injury, economic injury. You attempt it or you cause it. You convey a gift or offer it or promise to. You mislead, intimidate, and harass. I mean, that's a lot of damn things. That's a lot of options. That's a lot of freaking options there. They are a Massachusetts lawyer. Well, they did a very good job breaking this down. This is a lot of things, guys. The element, the bad conduct. Could be damn near anything, right? The type of victim who was a witness, potential witness. A person who is or was aware of information or of records or documents or objects that relate to a violation of a criminal law, meaning if they happen to know of information. I mean, a lot of people could be aware of damn things. And then obviously everybody who's involved in a case, the judge, jurors, grand jurors, attorneys, all these people, this makes sense. Court staff, anybody at the court, yeah, it makes sense. You can't screw with them. But this one here, they are aware of information. How the hell does that work? And also, yes, if they're 100% a witness, yeah, that does make sense. A person who is attending a proceeding described in this section, if you just go to it, you could be intimidated. How a person who was attending. So just any one of you could get intimidated, technically. That's insane. That is insane. A person who had made known an intention to intend, saying, oh, I want to go. I want to go. How the fuck how does that work? How's that work? In this section, you're a family member of a person described here. You're the family member of a person who said they thought they were going to attend. Yeah, it might be easier to list who's not included. But if you're a family member of something, like, think about that. Think about that issue. You are the family member of a person who said, I want to go, and then they never went. That is so fucking stupid. That is so retarded. And then you have to have the right mens rea. You have to do it with the intent or reckless disregard for the fact that it may, so you have to have reckless disregard or intent, that you're impeding, obstructing, delaying, preventing, interfering with, or punishing any person for their family members' participation. You're harming anybody, you're retaliating against them. At a criminal investigation, a grand jury proceeding, a dangerousness hearing, a motion hearing, a trial. Think about this. You could just be somebody who's going, and I intend to impede or delay you from going. Just to watch. That's intimidation. Fucking mental. Absolutely mental. So, absolutely mental. I'm intimidated, but I attend virtually. Do I qualify? I don't know. Maybe. So, Andrew Valentine says he harassed and doxed innocent people. Which innocent people? Who is an innocent person? I'm just curious there. But yes, like, if you guys brought this up already, the way they've treated these jurors has been awful. Like, wanting people to get deported, threatening them economic harm, clearly doing that, yes. In a former retaliation demanding Paula Prado get deported or stripped of her citizenship, everything John DePietro's done, everything Kate Peters done, everything all these anti-Kearney people done is 100% fucking juror intimidation. Kate Peter calling the lead juror an Uncle Tom. Using racial epithets, that's clearly not an intimidation tactic. That is just a lot of people involved there. So this is the problem. This is the problem. So that's what Turtleboy's been charged with. So this is where the McCabe's, the Alberts, Lieutenant Tully, and all kinds of people go out and they cry like little bunny rabbits that Turtleboy was so mean. No, I think Turtleboy, everything he did was First Amendment protected activity. Do I think, once again, like I've said before, do I think some of that stuff was ill-advised the way he did it? Sure, especially really the biggest thing I had a problem with where he's sitting there blasting somebody's phone number all over the screen. Other than that, I think everything else he did was pretty legit. Even then, blasting a cell phone number, still protected. But I think he set himself up for failure and allowed these guys to fuck with him by doing that. He scored an own goal, in my opinion, and gave them the ammunition to come after him. Now he's got 1 million counts of witness intimidation. So, and this is, and this is a very good hypothetical here, regarding how do you address something here. And this is just a simple hypothetical for you guys. That a miscellaneous Twitter loser disagrees with the jury verdict in the trial of Karen Reed. The loser directs a tweet to a person who's known to have served as a juror. The idiotic tweet suggests, without any evidence, that the juror violated the law of the U.S., that they are an illegal alien engaged in outside research in the deliberation room or lying under oath. The loser Twitter followers, even bigger losers, read the tweet, contact the juror's spouse's employer, and perpetrate the lies in the tweet. So they do some gay ops. The juror's spouse loses his job as a result of those contacts. Under the above, is this a violation of the law? I would argue yes, 100% so. And yeah, they directly attempted emotional economic harm to a juror with the intent to make it happen and retaliate from a trial in a criminal proceeding. It's very easy. It's very easy. That's very, very easy there. But they're not going to, because they have protection. And we're going to find out what kind of protection they have. So this is an email, and we're going to get to this one first, because this is the bomb. This is very, very interesting. So this came out today, and it's a letter. They have it sent by email to Robert Cosgrove. Robert Cosgrove is the special district attorney who's doing the Turtleboy prosecution. So he's the one, because remember, the DA's office has conflicted themselves out. And from here, this is where we go. Here's where it gets good. So it talks about the Commonwealth versus Aidan Kearney, and it's different cases here. Remember, he's got they indicted him on a bunch of things each time. So that's why he's got 3 cases. And he says, I write to bring your attention to several concerns we have with the July 7th discovery production. And remember, we listened to that hearing, and at that time, the prosecutor said, we're going to give him 5,000 pages of documents. You're like, okay. And they say, we'll hope you'll resolve this prior to our August 13th appearance. And the 13th, I think, is a Tuesday. Because if, it's a Wednesday. 10th is a Sunday, 13th is a Wednesday. We might be able to watch that one if it's filmed. I don't know. We'll see. And this is Mark Bederow. saying what appeared previously obvious is now undeniable. The investigations that led into Turtleboy's indictments were essentially outsourced by the Commonwealth to Catherine Peter, a private citizen. Which, if they actually did do this, guess what? Kate Peter is now a state actor. So they can't rely on, oh, she's a private citizen, we don't have control over things. If they relied on her as a state actor, you know, a lot of shit's discoverable now. A lot of shit is discoverable. And the state's responsible for a lot of things. Anyway, she's motivated by her obsessive hatred for Turtleboy, and it's true. She fucking hates Turtleboy. Inserted herself in the matter, and whose checkered past includes filing forged legal documents to gain an advantage in a dispute with Turtleboy. Kenneth Mello, the other special assistant, and the Massachusetts State Police, including Lieutenant Tully on the Snake Squad, ignored numerous red flags that every seasoned prosecutor should have recognized. An uninvolved civilian facing her own criminal charges with personal animus against the target of investigation, and a history of forgery, which is like the biggest red flag, pestered authorities by inserting herself into an official investigation by providing edited materials without a chain of custody. And that's the problem when you guys, normies, get involved. There's no chain of custody of the shit you bring to them. They similarly ignored evidence that Kate Peter assisted blank and blank was the architect of a plan to make blank a witness, which she knew would lead to Mr. Mello to charge Turtleboy with witness intimidation. I'm assuming this is probably Jennifer McCabe, and they were setting up plans to get certain people labeled as witnesses to fuck with Turtleboy. And they say rather than vet her dubious credibility, Mello and the MSP ignored it. And it goes without saying that all materials and information in the Commonwealth's possession, custody and control regarding their relationship with Kate, including evidence she provided to the Commonwealth in its investigations, is critical to his defense and must be disclosed. And that's true. Everything she has, everything they have, all their communications with her are fair game now. If she's an investigator, guess what? If they're relying on her, I'd argue she's a state actor. Everything. Everyone. Yes, everyone. Everyone Kate talked to. Because now she's an investigator like Tully. She's an investigator like Proctor and Buchanan and DeChico. We get to have access to those phones. Kate needs to turn over her phone. So this is absolutely fucking crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And they talk about it must be turned over pursuant to Brady versus Maryland, meaning any exculpatory evidence you must turn over. Giglio versus the United States, chat. We talked about Giglio before. And Giglio is a furthering of Brady. And Giglio goes to that you have a duty to disclose exculpatory and impeachment evidence to the defense. You must disclose information that could challenge the credibility of your witnesses. But that also includes leniency, immunity, any deals you make, any agreements you have with these people. And that's the kind of the furthering of Brady. And then you have like Kyles versus Whitley. They have, it's everything, chat. And you have to, and Kyle's is the case of when you have like a couple pieces, you view them collectively, and how would it have changed things? And that changed it a lot. So those are the cases. You have Brady, you have Giglio, and you have Kyle's. But yeah, it's called Brady material and Giglio material. Giglio and Brady are the two big fucking ones. And we've shown that before, guys. I've shown you one of my my standard discovery response, and you include these cases because you just like, look, fuckers, here's what I want. They also talk about Rule 14 of the Massachusetts Rules of Criminal Procedure as amended effective March 1st, 2025. And here's the point of that. The rules changed in the middle of the case. Guess what? That new rule now controls. So there is a furthering of the rules and how you do that. Remember, Hank was crying about Criminal Rule 14 the whole time at trial. And just you heard him every time, Criminal Rule 14, Criminal Rule 14. He just couldn't stop crying about it. And Criminal Rule 14 talks about the prosecutor's obligations. And who counts as the prosecutor? I mean, this is very straightforward. Prosecutor includes all persons in their office who have direction and control, or persons who have been participating in investigating the case and regularly report to the office or have done so. It includes police departments. It includes other governmental agencies, forensic analysts, crime lab personnel. It includes everybody. Witness advocates, members of joint task force. You know, you have to follow, like, this is all fair game. And guess what? Somebody who's routinely checking in and who's routinely involved in the case. Sounds like Kate was regularly and routinely involved in the case. So the production of documents on July 7th is inadequate. Now, here's where it gets good. So our recognition of the obvious discovery rules associated with the Commonwealth's reliance on Kate resulted in 4 defense demands for discoverable and exculpatory materials related to Kate beginning October 8, 2024. Until July 7th, each of these detailed demands was met with a shrug of the shoulders and complete silence from the Commonwealth, as was a May 1st court order compelling disclosure of any Kate Peter-related materials to the defense by May 21st. Yeah, and it's not easy. It's not hard to figure out. They are hiding everything. They are hiding everything from Turtleboy. It's very clear what they're doing. And I think this is where Turtleboy's probably going to, the more and more, like, after reading this letter, I think the state will dump the case before they have to disclose what the fuck they did and how much they worked with Kate Peters. I really do. I don't think they're going to hang on. I don't know if I don't know if Mark Bederow feels that way, but I think they're going to bail. And by the time we get to the end, you're going to see that too. I think the prosecution's going to bail on this because they can't afford to, if this gets out and as bad as it is, ooh, not good at all. Not good at all. Creed, this is a very good question. We'll get to this in a minute. We'll get to this. But in the meantime, chat, Unhung Hero for 20 subs. Let's fucking go, chat. Big freaking support right here. You know what? With that support, we're going to call it a night, guys. Have a nice night. We'll do a model stream shortly. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But no, coming in here and making America green again, telling these Grays to keep moving, Grays. This is a green neighborhood. And just crushing. I mean, guys, when you do subs for yourself or other people, this is what you're doing to the Grays. I mean, what more motivation do you want to know you are crushing them under your heel? Because that's the way the Grays only understand. They only understand the boot heel. They only understand the boot heel. Is that a robotic Clyde? Yes. It was Clyde. It was a robot Clyde done by Maddie B. But yes, it is a robot Clyde. And he took in the Clyde Awoo there. So if you guys heard that, there's the Clyde Awoo in there. There you go. So you guys got that, gets you in a woo also. Waffle says, I'll die on this great hill. Enjoy your tomb. Dig your foxhole deep, for it shall become your grave, sir. Oh. But this just shows, you know, you have an obligation. And it's even worse when you have an obligation to turn over, but they've also said, hey, I need this. That makes it's even worse. It's even worse. But we're gonna see what happens here. It's gonna say, We now know that most of the discoverable and specifically demanded information has been in the possession of both special prosecutors since at least December of 2024, when Mr. Mello emailed evidence of Peter's communications with himself and Lieutenant Brian Tully to you. And Creed, this is time to answer your question. Is it ethical for a DA to talk to Kate Peter as a defendant in their office, even in informant capacity? No, you shouldn't be doing this. That's why you have the cops. I would not be involved in that at all. And if there was somebody who was if I was in the DA, like if I was an ADA somewhere or an APA, whatever you want to call them, and I had a case where we were using an informant or something like that, all that conversation is handled through the investigating officer. And then if it comes time to sort out an agreement or something like that, I would speak to the informant's attorney and we would reach some sort of accord. But no, there is no way in hell would I be talking directly to that informant unless it became time for trial preparation. And then I bring him into my office and, we'd sit there and do trial prep. I'd talk to them about what we're going to touch on. Their attorney would be there. The investigator would be there. There would never be any direct communications otherwise. This is so fucked. I don't know how to describe it to you guys. Like, I don't think you understand. This is so fucking weird. And to make matters worse, Kate is facing criminal charges in this office. The same office is also prosecuting her. There's so much conflict of interest here. There's conflicts of interest. They shouldn't be talking to her at all. Now, the idea of you cutting a deal with a snitch or an informant who's got cases pending, that's not a problem. That happens all the time. That's the nature of the game. But doing it like this is so fucked up, guys. It is so fucked up. Creed says, are they acting in a law enforcement capacity? I would argue Kate is acting in a law enforcement capacity. Or at the very least, she's a state agent. She is an agent of the prosecutor's office doing investigatory work for them, and she's consulting with them on a case. So yes, Kate is a state actor. She does not have the protections of, I'm just an informant or a witness. She is a state actor. So her communications are now subject to search. And I'm assuming Mark Bederow is asking, I'm sure he's saying, I want her fucking phone mirrored. I want her phone hoovered up because it needs to be. It needs to be. Creed says the DA is outside his role. No, you can do it as a prosecutor. It's just a bad fucking idea. It's a bad idea because everything. So, for example, it's not improper. It's just improper. It's not illegal. But here's the issue. So let's say Mello and Cosgrove are talking to Kate, and Kate says something they clearly know is a lie. Just this is where I want you to think about this. So I'm Cosgrove, and I'm talking to Kate Peter. I got a bunch of white hair, so I'm like Cosgrove. I'm talking to Kate Peter about something, and she says something that's blatantly a lie. Or she says, I'll say whatever you need me to say. Guess what? That is now Brady material. That's exculpatory material. It's Giglio. It also leads to impeachment and credibility. And guess what? I'm now a witness that can be called for that. Because now I have to buy to Mark Bederow, hey, look, here's some material. Here's statements Kate Peter made. And if I'm Mark Bederow, the next question is, okay, who did she say this to? And now if I'm Mello or Cosgrove, I have to go, well, me. Now the prosecutor is a witness. That's why you don't talk to these people. It's done through cutouts that way. Because otherwise, now Cosgrove can't prosecute the case. He's a witness. That's the problem here. That's the problem here with this. That's why she talks to the detective. And then when something happens there, I say, look, detective, Lieutenant Tully spoke to her. Here's what she told Lieutenant Tully. Go, get your witness fee. You need it that way. And Creed says that there's a one-to-one communication. You're the only witness. Well, even then, I don't want to be there to hear it. I don't want to be there to hear it. So if I can avoid it. But yes, if there's a one-to-one communication, you're the only witness. But even then, I don't want to become like a potentially listed witness anyway. So, but yes, it helps to have multiple parties involved, but still, they were getting way too comfortable with her. They're getting way too comfortable. This is bad. This is really bad. And they say inexplicably, this critical evidence remained undisclosed for almost 7 months, even as demand after demand, and that's a problem, was made for it, and the court ordered its disclosure. If this wasn't bad enough, which it is, the court and defense were led to believe the July production contained more than 5,000 pages of discovery and included all of the Kate Peter materials we have sought. As it turns out, it's inaccurate. Because what happened here? So what was represented to the court and defense as 4,700 pages of relevant material from Lieutenant Tully's phone, in fact, contained more than 4,000 blank pages. 4,000 blank pages, chat. 4,000 blank pages. That's just to fuck you at this point. And he knew it's all garbage. If Cosgrove just said, oh, there's 5,000 pages and didn't bother looking at them, that is, whoa, buddy. Because now when they go to that hearing, if I'm the judge, I'm going to look at him and say, did you fucking read these? Did you know what was there? Because it sure doesn't look like they knew what the hell they're doing. No, it would not have been electronic form, Ag. They wouldn't have given him like 5,000 pages. This would have been electronic. But this is sanctionable. This is fucking sanctionable. And they say another few hundred pages of relevant materials were entirely redacted without explanation. Now, chat, here's the thing. You can redact things. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you provide a reason for why it's being redacted. Oh, this email on July 15th from Lieutenant Tully. He's actually talking about a different case. Now, you know why you have to say what it's for is so Turtleboy and Bederow can sit there and go, and Tim Bradle, and I don't want to forget Tim Bradle. Tim Bradle's out there fucking whooping ass too. So my apologies, Tim Bradle. Attorney Bradle, you're out there doing God's work also. But Bradle and Bederow need to sit there and go, well, are we going to challenge this? Are we going to challenge the class, basically the redaction reason or the classification reason? And if you guys have ever seen governmental, like federal government redacted documents, you'll see where they take it and the government you'll see like there'll be like a big bar of redaction somewhere. And we'll do this as an example here. Let's like here, here in this spot here, you'll see on a government like document, you'll see something and they'll say like B1 and they'll say like this is B3. And this is part of the classification statutes where they can protect things because they're national secrets and national security matters or personnel matters. You have to specify what it is and why you're securing it. Because otherwise, how do you know to challenge that? And then you could say, well, I want an in-camera hearing and I want the court to take a look at it. Now, this stuff obviously here from Mark Bederow is referring to things he doesn't have permission to release yet or talk about openly. So he released a redacted letter, but to Robert Cosgrove, this is all unredacted. So I hope you guys understand. Just completely redacting things doesn't help because I don't know what the hell's going on if I'm them. So they're saying that we immediately, and this is all they could do now. We demand an immediate production of the entirety of the relevant materials from Lieutenant Tully's phone prior to the hearing. Because otherwise, if they show up to the hearing and they don't have it all, well, then we're going to have a fight over all this. And then it drags things out longer and it causes problems. So this is the way to do it because they know they're hiding shit. So this is yeah, base Mark. Yes, base Mark and base Tim. So This is just ridiculous. And they say Miss Peters' relevance to the investigation, and she's a fucking investigator, I would argue. You know, and then from the materials disclosed, they indicate that in October 2023, Kate began communicating regularly with Mello, Tully, and Buchanan. She gave them and the MSP information and numerous edited audio and video materials without providing a chain of custody or proof. It appears that Mello simply accepted Kate's assistance and presented her unvetted evidence to the grand jury. And then 2 days before the grand jury started, Peter provided Mello with something. And it must have been something she was able to provide here, because they say with this shocking level of access. So she's no longer just a witness getting involved. I'd argue she's an agent of the state. She's an agent of the prosecutor's office. She is an investigator. She's like Tully. She's like Buchanan. She's like Proctor. You know, and it makes sense because she's a scumbag piece of shit. So she'd fit right in at the Massachusetts State Police. And she's a shit-healing motherfucker. She could be on the DA's detective team. She could. So this is just, it's fucking ridiculous. So it's not surprising that Peter later bragged to, and I'm assuming Gene and someone else, which included blah, 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 blah. I'm assuming she's talking to all kinds of people. And at least one blank, blank, blank in a conversation with about possible charges against Turtleboy. So they have all kinds of information. And the effective leniency and consideration. During this period, Kate provided substantial assistance to the prosecution. She was a defendant in 2 criminal cases, one of which remained under the jurisdiction of the Norfolk DA for approximately 1 month. On November 16, 2022, Kate was charged with violating a protective order in Suffolk County. Not Suffolk. Suffolk County. I think that's how because they say Norfolk, Suffolk County. And that remained open until it resolved favorably for Kate on October 26, 2023. On November 21st, Kate was charged in the Stanton, I don't know what they call it, district court with violating a protective order related to the same victim. This remained under the jurisdiction of the Norfolk DA until December 12th, when it was determined a special prosecutor is required due to the conflict of interest presented by the prosecution by the same office to which she was providing assistance against Turtleboy. Indeed, on the same day the Norfolk DA recused itself, somebody joked to Kate Peter that Turtleboy, blah, 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 but we don't know. They say the Stanton case remained open until it was favorably resolved for Kate in 2025. She had a bullshit misdemeanor open for a long fucking time, chat. That's a year and a half on this. That's a long fucking time. A long fucking time. And they say Kate's communications with Mello, Tully, and Buchanan reveal she actively communicated with the DA, prosecutors, and investigators. At the same time, she was facing at least 2 criminal charges, and during the time she was prosecuted by the DA's office. It's inconceivable that Mello and the detectives were unaware, and that's true. And the ethical and legal issues attendant to their regular communications with a criminal defendant represented by counsel. And if Kate has counsel, was that counsel ever informed? And this is the thing here, because in Kate's criminal cases, she has an attorney. And if a party has an attorney, guess what? As a lawyer, I have to contact the attorney. So for example, like, that's how it works. As a prosecutor, if I know, like, that's how this works. If you were my client and the prosecutor, Kate Brennan, says, hey, Sean, we want to talk to your client about a case, they have to come to me. They can't go talk to my client. You're not allowed to do that. Criminal or civil, you don't talk to represented parties directly. You talk to their attorney. That's how this works. Coke Fairy says it said Suffolk over there. Yes. It rhymes with Doton. Oh, Stoughton. Okay. Stoughton. Okay. Okay. Because I know in Virginia, because it's down in the Shenandoah Valley, I think there's one of these and it's like Stanton. And it's like ST whatever, but they call it Stanton. So I was like, that's I kind of thought I was going there. So yeah, if the party's pro se, that's how it works. That's how it works. If they're pro se, you talk to them directly. But if they're not pro se, you have to talk to their counsel of record. And they say, nevertheless, she communicated regularly with the authorities, and she and her boyfriend, ugh, lucky him, isn't that one of the other fucking weirdos involved in this? The piss house tales guy. She and her boyfriend received favorable treatment in their criminal cases. And they say, accordingly, we again demand all information, which tends to show that she sought, expected, or received leniency and consideration in exchange for her assistance against Turtleboy, including but not limited to any documentation or record of communications to Kate or her attorneys with the Commonwealth about her or her boyfriends. And that's true. It's not only just her family members, and her significant others. They talk about Kate's falsification of evidence to harm Turtleboy. And actually, we got to go back here. So in March, Kate's boyfriend was charged with assaulting Turtleboy in Boston. Isn't that kind of interesting? So it's not only his own case, but his case is against Turtleboy. Like, this, once again, just ratchets up the what the fuck meter even more. Not even a little bit. This, like, breaks the knob off the way they're handling this. This is not good at all. So. Yeah. That's the town, KRM. Stanton. Yes. Yeah, down by VMI. Kate's boyfriend is Bao, the guy who was arrested in the buffer zone. Oh, well. So they talk about November 2023, a Suffolk County judge ordered the Norfolk County DA to provide access to Turtleboy's devices, which at the time were in the possession of the Norfolk DA after Turtleboy's arrest. They still are in his possession. Turtleboy never got them back. The Norfolk DA refused to comply with his judicial order, which resulted in the charges against Kate Peters' boyfriend being dismissed. Yeah, so great. So the state violated things here, and guess what? For Turtleboy, that's a violation of his rights as a victim. That's a Marsy's Law issue. That's even worse. They torpedoed that shit to fuck to help Kate, but also fuck over Turtleboy, because Turtleboy can't get help from the justice system if they do this. That is truly, truly, truly corrupt. Truly corrupt. Because he has no protection under the law. None at all. None at all. None at all. So they say the Commonwealth has not provided us with documents, videos, recordings, files, and other information that Kate provided to Mello and the MSP. Her emails of Mello and Tully reveal that she repeatedly probably told him shit and repeatedly told them things that they later used to seek for the indictment for wiretapping Miss Gaetani. That's Lindsay Gaetani. That's that fucking whore that tried to get Turtleboy jammed up on the protection order case, and he had to go to trial and deal with her because she's another, I'll call her a whore that's out there. And Kate failed to demonstrate the reliability of or reveal an adequate chain of custody to confirm the authenticity. Obtaining exact and accurate copies from what Kate provided to the Commonwealth is particularly important, given her penchant to falsify evidence to harm Turtleboy. And this is where you learn about what Kate did. And I learned about this after the whole Chili thing. And I was like, wow, Kate's a fucking piece of shit. In addition to being like a meth addict and her kids being taken away and all that. Yeah. So in March of 2020, Kate and Turtleboy were embroiled in a copyright dispute over ownership of online content because Kate and Turtleboy worked together. Kate worked for Turtleboy at TB News. As part of this minor spat, Kate e-filed YouTube A document in which she represented she was a federal copyright civil complaint she filed in the District of Massachusetts against Turtleboy in a non-existent case, which is Exhibit A. Kate electronically signed the filed complaint. After Kate transmitted the document, YouTube ruled in favor and struck Turtleboy's thing. Now, what happened? Her complaint was a forgery, and her lawsuit was completely made up. She had located an authentic copyright claim filed in 2013, Exhibit C, and then she brazenly changed the caption and other information in the authentic document so that her forged document appeared to be an actual civil complaint she filed against Turtleboy. So, and here's the thing. Kate, obviously ignorant to the federal court filing system, while she committed her crime, failed to change the index number which she forged the civil complaint. And we're going to get to this. True to her ostensible complaint containing the 2013 index number, from the legitimate complaint she falsely represented as her own. Kate, you dumb slut. And we have it. We have it right here, guys, because here's Exhibit A. The complaint. Kate Peter versus Aidan Kearney and Worcester Digital Marketing LLC. And the case, 13 CV 1228. Okay. And we go through this. We go through the whole thing here. Notice she put a bunch of shit in here. Turtleboy Sports, blah, 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 blah. Signed Kate Peter that she filed it. Okay. What did that lead to? Well, Exhibit B. Turtleboy got a copyright notice. And if you guys have never gotten these before, I got these from Chile at one point, which were fucking hilarious. But they say, this is where they talk to Turtleboy about what's going on. And they're basically saying, sorry, we can't do anything about this. They upheld the copyright claim that Kate had, and they fucked Turtleboy over. And here's Exhibit C. The case number, chat. Look at this case number. Here's a case number. I think you guys have seen before. I think you guys have seen this case number before. 13 CV 1228. Oh, it's pronounced Worcester. This is 13 CV 1228. Wow. It's a real case. Oh, wow, Kate, you dumb whore. You dumb fucking whore. Anyways, she signed the falsified complaint represented to be true and accurate in a civil complaint transmitted in interstate commerce in furtherance of her fraudulent. And you notice, chat, you know what that is? That's defrauding somebody through the use of wires. You know what we call that? We call that wire fraud. That's a federal offense. That's wire fraud. It's wire fraud, Kate. And she represented a true and accurate complaint. It's also forgery, or uttering in many states, of her fraudulent criminal scheme based on their complaint. A few years later, Kate admitted during an online interview that she submitted the forged complaint with the intent to defraud. Now, I think, unless nobody knew at the time, I think that makes it, even federally, your fraud was discovered. So she still might be liable. I hope she is. That'd be fucking hilarious if she gets fucking nailed to the wall out of this. She rationalized her crime and defended her credibility by reasoning she was now trustworthy because she admitted to committing fraud. Yeah, that's not how that works. Notably, given the 6-year statute of limitations, Kate remained subject to prosecution for forgery in Massachusetts until March 24th, 2026. The ease which Kate was willing to forge and falsify documents to injure Turtleboy is significant. It shows her personal bias and her pattern of fraudulent and criminal activity. This is massive impeachment evidence, chat. It's dishonesty. It's a lot of federal crimes, yes, but the biggest one is wire fraud. Yeah, the Turtleboy Turtleboy is, I will say this, Aidan, if you're out there listening, man, you are blessed to have such retarded enemies. There are people out there who would have been very slick about how they did you up and hemmed you up, but you are blessed with having some of the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet come after you. So, you know, you should definitely thank God for being blessed with retarded enemies. So, yes, we call this 5 years in prison and up to $500,000 fine. Yes. Yes. Oh. But yes, that's something chat is true. Be thankful you have retard. Be blessed that your enemies are retarded. It makes your life so much easier than if they were competent. And it makes Mello's willingness to delegate investigative work to her. And once again, she's a state actor now. And then rely on her evidence as an additional basis to warrant his removal from the prosecution team, because these circumstances increase the likelihood that he will be a defense witness. Yeah, and Mello's going to be a witness. I would argue Cosgrove is a witness now, too. Second, Kate's bizarre role as the primary source of the evidence against Turtleboy, notwithstanding her history, is further complicated by the failure to provide the defense with discoverable evidence related to, unquestionably, has been in their possession and control for years. There's undisclosed evidence provided to the Commonwealth by Kate. A survey of the communications between Kate, Tully, Fanning, and Buchanan demonstrate the prosecutors has not disclosed a plethora of materials in its possession, custody, and control. There's an October 3rd thing right before Turtleboy got arrested, where Tully emailed Fanning, Buchanan, and Michael Proctor that something. The demand is made for the immediate production of all text regarding Kate, as well as something else. Any other information referenced in that email chain. And that's true. What are they talking about? We want everything they mentioned. If they talk about another email or a phone call or a file, that's discovery now. And the chain email between Tully, Fanning, Buchanan, and Proctor, which means we'll probably end up getting stuff where Proctor and Jen McCabe and Jill Albert and Brian Albert, I think we're going to see a bunch of that shit reweave everywhere it goes. That's the thing here. That's the it's just like Ethan Klein. Discovery. You know, by throwing out your discovery net, you're hauling up all kinds of shit onto the boat. They're going to find stuff involving the Karen Reed case. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And Maddie, you're saying, hypothetically speaking, if they called Kate to the stand, if they asked her about this, since it's still possibly prosecuted, could she claim the fifth? 100%. 100% she could claim the fifth. And that would be the smartest fucking thing for her to do, is plead the fifth. So they're going to find lots of crabs. Well, Kate has crabs, so I'm sure that they don't need to search for those. Kate has more crabs than Luke McFadden, that Asian guy who fishes out in Maryland. Scorpion says, how do they know this discovery exists? I'm sure he isn't guessing, but how do they know? Well, here's the thing, Scorpion. They found, I'm sure they have some sources. I mean, there's multiple ways. You know, they get leaks. Like, I'm sure people are helping. Like, they're getting their own intel. They might have their own informants. Just reading some of these emails, because to survey these communications, they're reading through stuff. So they can tell that Kate is talking to all these people, and these emails are there. So some of this, because you can't redact everything. If everything got redacted, the jig is up, and Cosgrove is in trouble. So a bunch of it has to be released. So just by reading through it, they can tell there's more there. You just have to read through it and sit down and go through it. So I hope that answers your question, Scorpion. That's a very good question. There's also just intuition. We know Kate's talking to them. And they probably know information because Kate's run her mouth and Kate's talked to other people. They have the statements in that affidavit they have. That Lady Jean from Dorchester or whatever. They can use. They have so much information. Kate fucking talked and talked and talked because she thought they were holding the high ground. She got complacent and ran her fucking mouth. But like I said, I'm sure there are people leaking information to them. I'm sure they have things that like Mello and Cosgrove don't like. If they were smart, they'd realize they probably have info, like very secret info. So these guys are playing a very dangerous game now. Oh, I guarantee you there's something going on there. There's something going on there. Now, going on from here, guys, they talk about October 25th. Kate emailed Tully that she and her team, and I love this comment from them, whatever that fucking means, which, yeah, who are these people? Her team, okay. So you have Kate's a state actor now, and the people that she's running are now part of the investigation. Who are these people? I need their names. And guess what? I'm going to need their communications. So we need all their communications. Who are they talking to? And this is where, once again, when you start hauling shit on the boat, you cast that net for discovery, you could find out all kinds of things, guys. I'm not joking. I wasn't joking to you. This can be real. This can turn out very bad very quickly. Because now they have a right to know where this evidence is coming from. Because Kate, like, is Kate using her team? Okay. Well, what are their evidence standards? How are they controlling everything? We have a right to know all of that as the defense. We have a right to know all of that. You know, on November 1st, Kate emailed Tully about something, and a demand is made for the copy of each version of this file. So apparently there's references to a file that's been amended, and Kate acknowledges there are multiple copies and versions of a file. Okay, well, we need every iteration of that. All of that's discoverable. If Kate made different edits to something, all of those edits are now evidence. This happens every once in a while. There's a case, I remember when I was in Toledo, a guy kind of ran a set of apartments that were kind of scuzzy. And it kind of, from what I understood, people were using it as some of the units of stash houses. Well, there ended up being a fire. And the fire department went in, and a firefighter died in the fire. Like, he felt something happened, and he got killed. And they prosecuted the guy for murder. And the arson investigator had made a report and like initial notes. And he had tossed those notes. But those notes initially said, I don't think it's a fire. I don't think it's arson. He had detailed notes he had taken, and he had got rid of those. Those were discoverable, and they were gone, and it created a massive discovery issue of, well, what do we do about that? So, yes, when you alter things and all the things you do, and that's why when the prosecutors hire an expert, if they hire an expert and the expert does all their stuff and then they don't use that expert, that's still discoverable. Everything they do is discoverable. And this is the problem. Kate ran her fucking mouth too much. They didn't think they were going to get caught. They thought they'd fuck Karen Reed over. They thought they'd fuck Turtleboy over. They didn't think they were going to get caught. No one here did. Because they're stupid. Once again, Turtleboy is blessed with a bunch of fucking retards for enemies. You know, even though you're kind of in Psalm 54 territory of, you know, please God hear my prayer because I'm in a strange land and ruthless men seek my life. So they don't put God before you. Turtleboy is very lucky that God is hearing his prayer and has blessed him with retarded enemies to allow him to fight and seek his help. But anyways, Kate emailed Tully about something else. A demand is made for the stuff provided by Kate to Tully. On November 26th, before the grand jury, Kate emailed Mello about something. And they say, upon information and belief, saying, to the best of our knowledge, Mello used this information of whatever it was During the grand jury presentation, a demand is made for the copy of this and any other recordings of phone, text, and other communications between Kate and Mello, and all information regarding how any of these things were, where they were, and by whom they were found or recorded, and all documentation regarding Mello's reliance on Kate as a source of information. I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on here, guys. Yes, Hung, I did see the Deber letter. We're going to get to that in a minute. Panzer says, oh my God, Bible. Fuck, Sean. Well, it is. Oh. Do they drop the charges versus handing over more discovery? Jen, I think that is something Bederow. If I'm Mark Bederow, I think that's what's going to happen. If they turn this over, fuck, there are people who are going to be in fucking trouble. Michael Morrissey wants to run again. I think then again, this becomes FOIA. If he drops it, a lot of this becomes FOIA because the cases are all over. So I think Michael Morrissey's in a rock and a hard place. You go to trial and reveal everything, and I think the idea is you drag the case out long enough, or if you dismiss it now, it all becomes FOIA. It's like, I don't know. I don't know which way you want to go there. Both those sound really, really bad. Really bad. Really, really bad. So it's not clear, Gen G, but it's a very good question. Like I said, a lot of people are thinking that. I'm sure Bradel and Bederow are, whatever plan they can get to get Turtleboy out of this is their goal. But I think Bradel and Bederow have a game plan here. And they say on December 20th, Kate emailed Mello and Tully about something here. And the demand is for all the items provided by Kate to Mello and Tully, including information given to Kate Peter by someone else. So remember, Kate says, I got this from so-and-so. Okay, well, now we need to know who that person is. That's another witness. That's a chain of custody thing. Who the fuck is this? Do they have Giglio and Brady issues? On December 28th, there was another email. And the demand is made for any notes or documentation regarding the conversation between Kate and Tully. And there should be, if she's part of this, because cops will say, yeah, here's my report. I talked with, fellow investigators, and we talked, and everything's supposed to be documented. And we know it's not going to be. All this shit is going to be done by the back of the napkin. And they say they want to talk about everything from that she received and the information provided to the Commonwealth by somebody regarding blah, 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 blah. They say Kate emailed Mello, and everything's made for the 27 people referenced by Kate Peter, and any information they provided for a copy of whatever it is. So Kate is just name dropping, and every one of those names is discoverable. They're all witnesses. They're all witnesses. This is fucking insane, guys. I read this earlier and I was like, whoa, buddy. That's why the Parker bomb thing. We'll get to that guy. We'll get to the guy Alan Jackson's defending later. This is insane, you guys. This is absolutely insane. And I'm sure these 27 people are a bunch of our anti-Karen Reed dickheads that are out there on Twitter. I'm sure that's a lot of them. So guess what? They got all the fucking attention they wanted. They're coming into fucking trial, which is going to be hilarious. You dumb whores. I hope you enjoy what you've got. Kate did another email, and a demand is a release for any notes, affidavits, or other information regarding a search of probably Turtleboy's shit and the folder and previous things that were referenced in Kate Peters' emails. God fucking Kate. She just keeps talking. And these dumb fucks weren't smart enough to tell her, shut the fuck up. But it's all out there. On January 25th, Kate emailed them, and a demand is made for a copy of the file. Kate emailed them. Kate talked about to Mello what on information and belief, but probably was something she did there. What are the recordings they used? Demands made for any recordings from November 1st and 17th, 2023 that Kate provided to Mello, as well as these communications or information between Kate and them. You know, Buchanan emailed Tully and Kate. Emailed Lieutenant Tully that Kate had said, probably Kate said something to Buchanan. Is this Brady and Giglio material? Probably. A demand is made for all text messages between Kate and Lieutenant Bukaki and other members of the MSP. Yeah, we need to know. These fucking shit-healing rats. We need to know. Buchanan emailed Tully about another text he received. A demand is made for the text message and information. You know, and Tully, if Tully don't have it, he's fucked. On September 25th, Tully was emailed a summary of a complaint that probably is all the stuff they're going to do to re-indict Turtleboy for new offenses. A demand is made for all information referenced in the email to Tully, including a copy of the complaint Kate filed with the police, any reports and photographs of proof, evidence of any other allegations made. You know, all communications between Kate and another person relating to the complaint. I'm sure Kate helped the Alberts and the McCabe's go file shit and make complaints. You know, because here's where I think we get to the part of Jen McCabe here. Kate filed the complaint on Jennifer McCabe's behalf or with her knowledge, and any evidence that Kate was compensated or provided anything in return for assisting Jen McCabe in filing the complaint with or for any other purpose. I'm assuming this is where Kate got her fucking couch. Fuck your couch, Kate. So, this is just... It gets even worse, Chad. It gets even worse. It gets even worse. We're not done yet. We're not done yet, guys. Lindsay Gaetani, that whore, emailed Tully. A demand is made for any proof of the claims made by Gaetani and her October 10th thing, including copies of any alleged harassment that was posted online. And it's obvious the Commonwealth relied on Kate to build its case. Yeah, she's a state actor at a time when Kate was a criminal defendant. Remarkably, the Commonwealth farmed out the investigation to Kate Peter. And yeah, she is a state actor, I would argue now, despite her well-known hatred for Turtleboy, which is so intense she foolishly filed forged federal court documents. It's also clear that Mellon's relationship with Kate is evidenced by his own communications with her, his reliance on her unvetted evidence, as well as Kate's claims about her private access to him and his willingness to engage in conversations with her about Turtleboy, further warrants his immediate removal from the team because he is a material fact witness. I agree. For these reasons, we request a prompt response to the above-cited issues and demand full compliance with Rule 14, which requires you, at a minimum, to inform the prosecution team. And the individuals in this are Mello, Lally, Laura McLaughlin, Hank Brennan, Lieutenant Fanning, Tully, Buchanan, Proctor, Stephen Nelson, and any other victim witness advocates about their possible possession of discoverable evidence, and if any exist, to collect and then disclose any such evidence, irrespective of whether you credit it. Now, here's the thing I think, Mark, you should have done. You include DeChico, all the guys on that detective squad. But I would say any witness that was like that 100 some people, that massive witness list from the Karen Reed trial, I would have cited that as a thing. I would have cited that as a thing here. I think that is a very critical point that I don't think that's been properly set up here. But this is where I basically would put the state on notice. All these motherfuckers, the combined witness list, all of them. You need to start figuring out which of those witnesses you listed in Karen Reed, because a ton of MSP were on that. But yeah, they're all coming in. They're all fucking coming in, brother. But yeah, all these people. Hank could be a witness. Lally could be a witness. I think Michael Morrissey could be a witness now too. And it says respectfully, which is really too nice. I mean, we're in govern yourself accordingly territory. You can't do that, though, in a court document. The judge would get really mad at you. But I do think it's, respectfully, Mark A. Bederow, CC Timothy Bradel, Kenneth Mello, the clerk of courts in Norfolk Superior Court, and Turtleboy. Whoo, buddy. Whoa, buddy. That was a fucking shot across the bow, man. Oh. So we gotta get to with that said, guys, throw some questions out there. We'll answer them the best we can. Right now we're gonna catch up on some of the other questions people asked earlier. KRM says, what do you think, chat? Did Clyde have a ball game that went extra innings? No, his piano recital went to overtime. Clyde had a piano recital and we went to overtime. We ended up having a shootout. Creed says, I'm making the mistake of assuming this office is capable of risk analysis, which is clear they're not from Kieran Reed 1 and 2. I agree. Yeah, they don't demonstrate that. Reality with Krista Marie says, hello, new subs. Well, hi, Krista. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And then became a new member. Thank you. Thank you for your support. And then Sleazy gifting 10 subs. Let's go. And Robert Lawrence with 5 more subs, chat. Big, beautiful freaking support, chat. Making America green again. Praying the gray away. These H1 green visas. I mean, we are doing our thing, chat. And, just taking Clyde Coin to the moon, chat. That's right. Clyde Coin going all the way to the moon. Off their mond. That's where we're going, chat. Nothing is going to stop us now. Nothing. Just like the song, nothing's going to stop us now. Another says, regarding RoboClyde, shut up and take my Clyde coin. Well, there you go. Thank you. Aaron Hack says Mello should be number 1 on the witness list. Mello, Cosgrove, and I would argue Michael Morrissey because this was done all with his permission. Michael Morrissey's on that list. Jen McCabe's on that list. If I'm Mark Bederow and Tim Bradel, remember, once again, I apologize for not saying Tim Bradel as much as I say Mark Bederow. They are both on this together. I'd be fucking there. I'd be dropped once we get going. Everybody's getting fucking subpoenaed. The Alberts and McCabe's, like, we're fucking subpoenaing everybody. Everybody's getting subpoenaed. Ben Mallah says, should be just give us our shit at our bats in that Giglio case. Fair enough. I agree. Well, there's some courts I've been in before. There was one court I was in before where the judge, when he took the bench, when you showed up for an arraignment, whether you were retained or appointed, for your arraignment, each defendant, even if they got served previously with an indictment, they got a new copy at the arraignment and they signed for it. And then the attorneys were given a sheet of paper with the heading and the case number on it. And it was a request for discovery. And it was one simple line. The defendant hereby requests all discovery they're entitled to under Rule 16 of the Ohio Rules of Criminal Procedure. And as a defense attorney, you signed it, prosecutor signed it, and it was in. And that's because there are attorneys who would fuck around, not get discovery, do things with it. And this is the judge's way of also just making sure everybody understood, especially prosecutors. My discovery means everything. There are no questions about it. Now, when I still did it, I still filed my own, just for the sake of, I think it's proper to just make sure you list out all the things so they can't go, well, what did you mean? But yeah, it can be very simple. It can be very, very simple at times. Let's see here. Special Silicone says, like, a state court judge is ever going to go after a prosecutor for lying. I agree. No. I agree with that. I mean, let's be real about what's going to happen. Like, yeah, take the black pill on this, chat. But these people are fucking scumbags. There's nothing wrong with pointing out they're scum. They're the scum of the earth. But what is really going to happen to them? Probably nothing. But once in a while, shit does happen. Like the Alec Baldwin trial. Once in a while, lightning strikes. And when it strikes, holy shit, it is beautiful. Let me tell you what. It is beautiful when lightning strikes. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So, you're not wrong. Bama Law says, so this is discovery. Guys, if you don't worry, Bama Law is an attorney down in Alabama. He says, so this is discovery related. Almost 15 years ago, for 15 years, I've always just said to the state, give me my shit. Now I'm in a new area I'm in once a motion, and Bama courts not do discovery. No involvement. This is weird. Well, yeah, if you don't file a discovery motion, then what do you do? Like serving private notice and just serving them a letter, I guess? I don't know. That is a little weird. Karam says, at this point, I don't want the state to drop charges. It keeps everything hidden from the public. Zero transparency. FOIA is your friend. And you know what? Here's the neat thing. Once the case is over, the protective orders that Turtleboy's under right now go away. So all that shit that we can't talk about and has been blacked out, they can just show everybody everything. And they can show them all the stuff that they've got in their back pocket too. So don't worry. Asses will be made to sting regardless of this outcome. Remember, Morrissey and Cosgrove have a problem. They don't know what Turtleboy has, and they know he's got stuff that they haven't shared. So they don't know what he has, but they also know FOIA is an option and discovery is an option. So they're kind of fucked right now. They're in a tough spot. Stephen Cooper for $2 says, shout out to the Crystal Methodist. Yes. Also, the Crystal Method. I remember that. Remember that group back in the day. They were like the hot shit out there. Kimmy and Stuff says the police have informants. Kate Peters works for a private investigator. She does? She works for a private investigator? Well, she's acting like a state actor. Does that private investigator know Kate's doing all this? Like, that could jeopardize his license if she's working for a PI. Like, that guy's going to get subpoenaed. That guy's stuff is questionable now. Was he involved? You know, this just layers and you pulling layers away on this. There's more and more. Let's see here. Scorpion already answered that. Unhung Hero for $20. Let's go, chat. Big freaking support today. I appreciate it. It says, do you see Jackson's letter I tagged you in? It says, uh-oh, Dever bros. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute here. We're going to do the Dever letter in a second. And Turtleboy says, had they been smart, incredible humans, meaning everybody at 34 Fairview, they would have called 911 the second they knew John was in serious trouble. Yeah, they could have done something. As Hank Brennan's right, they could have made a phone call. But it sounds like John was long for this world anyway. Edward Scott says Kate Dever is a decorated cop. The police commissioner decorated her uniform. Oh, I'm sure he did. And we're going to get to that. They had their private meeting. Reality with Chris and Marie saying, can the people that Kate Dever testified against now go back and say she has false memory syndrome? I mean, like if she was involved as a critical, like prosecuting witness, yes, I'd be filing motions for a new trial. Anything she testifies in coming up, she's going to get fucked on. So yeah, definitely would be something they could use. Kathy, your realtor living in New Jersey, chat, remember? Kathy, I like how you changed that, so there's no question anymore. Guys, remember, it's New Jersey, not the Channel Island of Jersey. But guys, if you are in New Jersey, you're looking to buy yourself, you're looking to move to New Jersey, and the rare chance you might, get Kathy a call. If you're looking to leave New Jersey, Godspeed. I hope nothing more. You can get out of that state. Give Kathy a call. She's your realtor out there. She'll take care of you. She says for $5, says, this will be must-see TV. They need better mics in that courtroom. Yeah, I think, it's going to be interesting. I hope there's shit that's televised. Although it seems like Turtleboy is having somebody there filming. It just comes out a day later. So we might not watch the thing live or things. We might wait for Turtleboy to release the video so we can watch. I think the audio is a little better at those points. EL444444 says, love that you're as pissed as many of you have been supporting him through this bullshit. Yeah. Injustice is injustice regardless of who it is against. And besides, I think Turtleboy did nothing wrong. Turtleboy is the only reason Karen Reed is free right now. So, yeah, I mean, like he did God's work and he's doing the right thing. He did nothing wrong here. So. Let's see here. Well, you guys did CUN. Cunt. Yes. Can lean on the end there. Oh my God, you guys are trained by all kinds of towers. Oh. Judy Miles says, oh, great. I stumbled on this morbidly obese piece of shit living his dream in his mother's basement. I'm out of here. Well, bye, Judy. Have fun sucking dick at the truck stop. Let me see here. You want to be like me, but all I got you was type 2 diabetes and FBI watch list attention. Well, hey, you know, it's a thing. Never silver linings, chat. All right. Let's see here. How did I pay off snitches? I never paid off snitches. You know, it was just tell the truth, and depending on how well you do, you know, like sometimes we promise things, but generally it's just like you tell the truth. And then we go in there and tell the judge he did the truth. So let's see here. I'm living in a basement. I'm like, I'm on a ground floor basement, I guess. All right, guys. Now moving on from here, we have Alan Jackson getting involved with Officer Deber from the Boston Police Department. You guys remember her. Well, and we'll just bring this up here. This was Kelly Dever or Dever or whatever you want to call this. And this is her. She's the defense called her. And she was just a combative cunt who didn't remember nothing.
The commissioner's office at Boston Police Department.
Not about anything.
And this is them asking her, you talked with the police commissioner, right? And here we go.
Malicious.
I didn't use the word malicious. Why do you say malicious?
I had a conversation, but it was my department saying, regardless of what I need to say on the stand, they support me.
You were asked to go to the commissioner's office, correct?
Yes.
How long had you been on the Boston Police Department at the time that you were invited to go up to the Commissioner Michael Cox's office?
It had to have been before the first trial. So, and I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Okay, so I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall how long you had been on the force generally at the time that you were called up to the commissioner's office on the Boston Police Department?
No.
Was it 5 years, 2 years?
And chat, remember, Kelly Dever is the person who watched the video in the carport of when Berkowitz and I believe Proctor went into the Sally Port and were in there for an obscene amount of time. And then she lied about whether or not what she saw is what she saw to the FBI.
2 months. Give me a ballpark.
So I've been on the department for 2 years and 2 months. I would say somewhere in the range of a year.
Okay. Did you find it unusual would you call yourself a rookie back then?
Yes.
Did you find it unusual that a rookie police officer would be called up to the commissioner's office personally to discuss that?
It was a reflection of how good of a leader he is. It was not anything that I found unusual, given the fact he is someone who wanted to show support for his officer.
So I'm guessing all of your training class or all of your entry classes at Boston PD, they've all gone up to the commissioner's office as well?
I don't know anyone else who's been in this particular circumstance.
Do you know anybody else who's been called up to the commissioner's office at your level at the Boston Police Department?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know of any of your colleagues with your level of experience that have been called up to the commissioner's office for a specific instance?
Objection.
That's sustained.
And that's bullshit. All that should have been brought up. Why was she going there? Because it's clear she's a fucking liar. And the fact Bev sustained all that was bullshit, I think.
When you went up to the commissioner's office, did you respond to his indication that he wanted to see you up in his office?
It wasn't a direct line of contact from him.
Okay. Did you respond? Did you ultimately go? That's what I mean by respond. Did you go to his office?
He's my boss, so yes.
Okay. And who else was in that office?
Me and him. The two of us.
General counsel of the Boston Police Department?
No, it's just me and him.
During the conversation that we had last year, did you say that general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department was also there?
Objection.
Not during
Sustain.
that conversation.
Objection.
Next question.
Sure. Was there another time that you went to the commissioner's office where general legal counsel was there?
No,
Have you ever met general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department?
yes,
Was it in the commissioner's office?
no.
When was it?
During my conversation with the agents.
You took a lawyer with you to talk to this other law enforcement agency?
I'm gonna see you type out of this.
Well.
I want to clear this up.
Here we go.
Was general legal counsel in that office or not when you had a meeting with the commissioner, Michael Cox?
No, it was just me and the commissioner.
Which is really fucking sus. Why are the lawyers not there? Why are you just meeting with him on his own? That's very sus, isn't it? No lawyers, nobody else to document it. That probably violates protocol in a million different ways. Violates the Billy Graham rule, being with like that, because she could claim she got sexually harassed. But anyways, here we go. Let's keep talking because it's so weird and funny.
At some point, did the commissioner say to you that Boston Police Department, insofar as your connection to this case is concerned, Boston Police Department fully supports you?
Yes,
Did he also say, do the right thing?
that's a direct quote. So I can't recollect if he said a direct quote 2 years ago.
A year ago, when you talked to us, the defense, did you tell the defense that when you were called up to the commissioner's office, he told you two things? Commissioner Cox told you, number one, Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Deber, do the right thing.
So he said my name correctly. He said Deber. And
That's my mistake. Let's see, you want me to repeat the question so I get
So,
that right?
Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
yes, and he said nothing with the intent of guiding me one way or the
I didn't ask you
other.
what his intent was, madam. I asked you what he said to you. What were his words to you?
That he supports me.
And
Just wanted me to tell the truth up here.
his words were, do the right thing, correct?
I don't recall.
Yeah, it's amazing. She don't remember a lot of shit. So once again, just another dumb whore. Another dumb whore. Another dumb whore. Another dumb whore. Another dumb whore here. Yes, he supports me, and he loves how my ass looks in a pantsuit. Yes. So. Yes. Answer the question. Whore. Whore. So how? Anyway, Alan Jackson sent a letter to the Boston Police Department, and yeah, we're getting into the idea of what a Brady and Giglio list is. And this is something that many departments have, not everywhere. And it's not something necessarily you can always get a hold of. Sometimes there's quiet little secret documents that you don't have access to. But many, like really any place worth the shit, has a list of cops they trust and don't trust on the stand. So. And then real quick, I forgot. We need to address the next part of this chat was
The commissioner's
to Kelly Dever.
yes, she had a meeting with the Commissioner Cox, the big black Cox. He brought her in and be like, Well, hello, little white girl. I'm the Mr. Police Commissioner. Why don't you come here and sit down and we talk about your case? You know, we tell the truth. You got a pretty mouth, Kelly. Yes, sir. Yes, the commish. The BBC. Yep. We ain't talking about no TV deals, chat. So anyway, here, like, she says there was a meeting. And that means that there's a meeting and there was no one there. It was off the books. Which is these guys, everything they do is documented. All the meetings they have are documented and are supposed to be documented. But anyways, here he goes.
Sir Kelly Dever, the defense implied that you influenced your testimony. Do you want to respond to that?
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. You know, I have an organization, Philip, over 3,000 people, and we support all our folks. And the reality is that, you know, I get information passed on, whether people are high or low, and I encourage everyone, right? And if you're going to work here and you belong here, then we're going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about Karen.
Did you tell Officer Deber to?
Do you just bring in random pretty little white girls in the Boston Police Department and go, you know, I want you to tell the truth. Now find the truth in my pants. Like, do you just randomly do that to officers? Hey, quietly go up to you know, the police commissioner's office. Like, that never fucking happens. In a thing like the Boston Police Department or the New York City Police Department, you don't just get a fucking meeting with the commissioner. If you're in a meeting with the commissioner, you're generally fucked for some reason. As a regular beat cop, you don't just get these types of things to happen.
To do the right thing.
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So
I'm sure you did.
Know, I don't know. I was struck. Like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never have said those words together. And so the fact is, you know, it's much to do about nothing. We have employees here that we have to develop and encourage and do things, and I do that for tons of our employees.
Do you feel that you were inappropriately drawn into this as some sort of boogeyman?
I encourage all the white women in the Boston Police Department privately. I do all kinds of career development with them.
That case is over, and you know, we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan. So.
Thank you.
That is correct, chat. That, like, you could do a lot with that, because you know what? Kate Dever's got false memory, so she could claim he sexually assaulted me, and he'd be like, "Bitch, you don't remember nothing." Yeah. That lady saying thank you is trying to stop it. Yep, she is. Yeah, I was in Michigan talking to other white female police officers. I was saying, "Hello, Mr. Police Lady." Yes, sir. I was having one-on-one interviews at the Plaza Hotel. Oh. Free Turtleboy says these people are morally and ethically bankrupt. Sick. Yes. Yes, I didn't know nothing about Karen Reed. You didn't know shit about John O'Keefe dying? Okay. Heisenberg says, "Are we free Turtleboy here?" Yes. 100% free Turtleboy. Turtleboy did nothing wrong. So, but if you're anti, you're welcome here too. Because I don't kick people out. We don't ban people. Just don't act like a dickhead. But no, Turtleboy did nothing wrong. So. Mavka says Cox sued the BPD in the 90s when the officers beat him and covered it up. They beat me up because they found out I had such a big dick, and all the white police officers loved it. So. All right, so here we go, chat. This is a letter from Worksman Jackson and Quinn LLP from LA, California. LA. And guess who some of the people that work there are? Guy named Mark Worksman, maybe you heard of him. Guy named Alan Jackson, maybe, well, you definitely have heard of him. Then somebody else working there named Elizabeth S. Little. Maybe you heard of her. Maybe you heard of her. I don't know. I don't know. Angela's saying that could have been true. He could have, all the white cops liked his dick. Probably. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. So what are we seeing here? Let's a letter July 10th. Sent to Michael Cox, the police commissioner of the Boston Police Department in Boston, in the harbor, at Roxbury Crossing. That's so funny. Just do. What is love? Anyways, it's a Brady and Giglio disclosure for Officer Kelly Dever. Dear Commissioner Cox, and he says, pursuant to the obligations of Brady v. Maryland, a Giglio, this letter serves formal notice that a member of your department must be included in the Brady database. The grounds for her mandatory inclusion are outlined below. As you are no doubt aware, Officer Dever was a witness or Dever or dildo cunt whore. Officer lying whore was a witness called by the defense in the matter Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, a high-profile murder case that was tried for the second time in April 2025. This case received an extensive national and international media coverage. Officer Whore's involvement in the case stemmed from an interview with agents from the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, during which the interview, Officer Whore explained to agents in detail her observations that former Canton Police Chief Kenneth Berkowitz and Special Agent Brian Higgins. Remember, Brian Higgins is at 34 Fairview. Why is he wandering around the fucking car? It's not his investigation. We're in the Sally Port of the garage of the Canton Police Department. She described seeing them enter the Sally Port where the SUV of Karen Reed was located on January 29, 2022. She described in indelible detail that she witnessed Berkowitz and Higgins go into the Sally Port and stay there for a wildly long time. And she thought it was weird that a witness on the case would have access to a seminal piece of evidence. Yeah, a lot of people do think that's weird. During her lengthy interview, she articulated her observations in considerable detail, including specifics about the monitors she was viewing at the dispatch desk. She described at length her observations of the two men entering the port with the SUV. Officer Dever, the whore, claimed no issues with her memory, and she was clear with the agents she made her observations in the afternoon or early evening of January 29, 2022, at the end of her shift after the SUV had been secured in the Sally Port. Subsequent thereto, federal authorities provided a report of their interview with Officer Whore, both to the prosecution and the defense in the Reed matter. Interesting. Interesting. Was it also funny and weird? I don't know. I don't know. In honor about April 2025, the defense issued a subpoena for Officer Whore to testify in the murder trial. And on June 2nd, she was called and sworn to testify before the jury. During the testimony under oath, Officer Whore changed her statement, claiming not that she did not make the statements, but that her observations of Chief Berkowitz and Higgins were a false memory. She maintained under oath and throughout her testimony the events she described to federal agents never happened, and that her memory she was recounting was false, and that the events she described did not actually occur. Totally believable. We've all been there, chat. It's clear, therefore, that one of two things is true. Either Officer Whore lied about having a false memory, or she actually suffers from a condition that subjects her to false memories. Yes. Are you retarded or are you a liar, Officer Whore? Pick. Are you a retarded whore or are you a lying whore? I don't know. But you have to pick one. Well, you could be retarded and lying too, I guess, if you really want to double whore max it, I guess. So, in either case, her credibility and reliability as a law enforcement officer are irreparably compromised. If she lied under oath, Officer Whore is guilty of perjury. If she truly suffers from false memories, she's unfit to serve as an officer. What about both? Her report, statements, and testimony can no longer be presumed accurate, current or prior, involving Officer Dever Officer Whore must be reviewed accordingly. These circumstances bear directly on Officer Horror's credibility and represent impeachment evidence pursuant to Brady and Giglio. Yes, and everything she ever testifies in from now on. Isn't it true you say you suffer from false memory? You're fucking retarded or something? She's going to have to go, yes. Or if she says, no, I just said that all. Oh, so you committed perjury. Once again, she can either be a stupid whore or a dumb or a lying whore. It's up to her. It's up to her what she chooses. It's up to her. So it's always up to her. Another says, what's the Sally Port? Sally Port's a garage at a police station. Generally, like, they bring you in. It's got doors that come down in the front and the back, garage doors. And that's where they can unload you out of a police car and take you in for booking and processing. So a Sally Port is a, hold on here. A Sally Port is basically like a secured way into a detention facility. Let's see here. What's a good example of a Sally Port? Let's see here if I can show you. Where's a good picture of it? Come on. And actually, here's one at a prison. Here's one at a prison that we can use. All right. So this is a Sally Port at a prison. The van, like the van or car where prisoners goes in, the doors close. And then there's going to be a gateway in the Sally Port that takes you through more secured, like a secured hallway into like a prison or a jail. That's what a Sally Port does. So that way, when the doors close, if you get out of the car, you can't run away. Basically, it's like a secured parking lot is how you should look at it. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. So, not to be confused with a Larry Dock or a Bobby Peer. Yes, that too. So you can't start a band in a Sally Port. No. Could you call it a man trap? Yeah, you could kind of call it that if you want to be all technical in your defensive fortification terminology. Why not call it a secure garage? It's because it's a port. It's like a port, meaning an entry or exit point where you could sally forth. So we're going to keep going here, though. Given these facts, it is clear that it is incumbent upon you, your department, to immediately include Officer Horror in the Brady database. And all information surrounding her claimed false memories must be disclosed to the defense in every case in which she is a witness or a potential witness. As you are aware, both prosecution and law enforcement share obligations pursuant to the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment to affirmatively disclose exculpatory and impeachment information to the defense in every case. The Supreme Court has mandated when the reliability of a given witness may be determinative of guilt or innocence. Non-disclosure of evidence affecting credibility falls within the Brady rule. That's also in Giglio, as we talked about earlier. And they say failure to disclose the intentionally false testimony and or her false memory condition would be a violation, subjecting both the prosecution and the Boston Police Department to severe sanctions, the least of which is the dismissal of every case she touches. Well, it all depends, because if she's like, well, what did you do? I put up the police tape. That's not critical, but there's probably a lot of things she was a critical witness on. If it's determined your department was on notice, which this letter formally provides, the department does nothing to include her and thereafter provide the defense the exculpatory materials in its possession, the sanctions can and will be far more extreme. So Alan Jackson is doing this knowing it's going to get denied and ignored, but now this helps every single person in Boston who has dealt with Kelly the whore Deber as a cop. This is now something they can rely on, saying the department received notice and they didn't do anything about it. So this helps a lot of people, not just Karen Reed and Turtleboy. Like, this is actually this is professional lawyering for the sake of the community. And it says, please confirm your receipt and understanding of this correspondence along with confirmation that Officer Horror has been included in the database. Very truly yours, Alan Jackson. Also sent to the superintendent in chief. So that way it's like other people here. It's also sent to Kelly the whore Dever, the police officer. And yeah. And we'll see what that does. We'll see what that does. We'll see what that does for her. So could happen to a nicer person. Couldn't happen to a nicer person, chat. So let's see here. Turtleboy, free Turtleboy now says my former name was Mustang Sally Port. I get that reference. Oh. Karen says because Massachusetts is gay. Well, no, because like here in Ohio, you call it a Sally Port. Like when you get arrested and you're taken to jail, you're taken to the Sally Port, and they open the doors and let you out, and you go in there. That's a normal case. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. Now, there's a really good question here. Scorpion asked. When they talked to the BOD counsel being with her at the FBI meeting, who would that counsel be representing? I think you mean FOP counsel, the Boston Police Department counsel. Did that lawyer leak what she told the FBI before the 3,000-page document drop? So here's how this works. If she went there with a police department lawyer, that lawyer represents the police department. The problem is, like, they probably didn't make it clear to her this lawyer is not your lawyer. Although, so hopefully, like, the FOP gave her a lawyer, the Fraternal Order of Police of the Police Union, or PBA, gave her a lawyer to go to that to who would directly represent her. Because that just seems fucked. That's something, that is how people get fucked is, oh, well, there's going to be a lawyer from the company there. That lawyer doesn't represent you. That lawyer does not represent you. And there's nothing wrong with ever asking that. If you're in a situation, someone's like, oh, a lawyer from the company will be there. You say, is that guy representing me? I want that in writing, that he represents me. So it's a very important thing. Very good question. Brilliant question. That's the thing. I love you guys asking those questions. You guys ask really good, really pointed questions. I enjoy it so much. I guarantee you she had no lawyer. I agree. I agree. She was on her own. I 100% think she was on her own. Ohio is gay. Well, your mom's gay. It should be called the Bussy Port. God, no. You awful. Awful. No, chat. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not calling it the Bussy Port. All right. Let's see here. Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte. You're saying they could have passed off John's injury as an accidental fall, and there would have only been a cursory investigation. Probably. I really do think that. But remember, people are drunk and they panic. And also just remember, these people are naturally pieces of shit. So they don't think in terms of, oh, we're all innocent. They think of, oh my God, we're fucked because we're evil. So you got to notice that with these people. They're shitbags. But you're very true. I think so. Remember, if they just passed it as, so, like, drunk guy fell down and died. Sign off on it. Happens all the time. DF88 says, suffer, Sean. Well, thank you. Yes. Suffer we must. Lineman 60 for $2 says, do you think the turtle stuff will void the Reed DUI? No. None of that will void out Karen's DUI or get that overturned. And I think, she gets to take that and dub and dab on these fucking assholes. I still think that's like the KNUs for Aaron's case. It's a bigger insult she only got the DUI. It's a bigger insult that she only got the DUI. Like, I think that is a far, far better thing as far as a punishment goes, because it drives these people absolutely fucking mad that she basically got a slap on the wrist. Will the Karen Reed saga ever end? I mean, remember, Turtleboy's part of it. And I said that. He's a critical part to it. Sean loves the BBC. Thank you. Lolo Holmes says Turtleboy may be an asshole, but who isn't? Well, hey, yeah, I know. Being an asshole is not against the law. But in the meantime, Turtleboy is also a correct asshole. Free Turtleboy now says the commissioner said my name right. He also gave her a massive unearned raise. The commission, the Benjamins, made her forget. Oh, I'm sure. Bama Law says, I always have false memories when I commit felonies. Yeah. I know, isn't it weird how that works? Isn't it weird how that works? Let's see, here we go. What else we got? I still have not seen any statements from anyone in Boston about John O'Keefe's death. Well, from the Boston Police Department, yeah. So, yeah. Dever can have a windfall too. No one told her to bring an attorney. Yeah, but I'm sure they're bribing her to shut up about that, and that's going to hurt her down the road if she tries to bring up those claims. So, you're saying the police department or anyone else on law enforcement or legal side, ancient troopers? No, the Massachusetts State Police gave out a press release about it. They basically admitted, yeah, we're sorry, we fucked up the case, and our agents are assholes. Our detectives are dickheads. So, no, the Massachusetts State Police did give one. So, show us the sandwich. We know the one that the camera changed was 2.0 giving you one. Old Line Red says they spent millions to get a DUI conviction. It's amazing. Like I told you guys from the beginning when we started watching round 2, I told you guys this is a DUI trial with some extra shit thrown in on top. And what did it turn out to be? A DUI conviction. Stick with me. You'll learn stuff. You'll learn stuff here, chat. Kathy says, did you say you did YouTube with Turtleboy? No. Kate did stuff with Turtleboy back in the day on Turtleboy News. I learned about Turtleboy because of her fight with Chile De Castro, a sovereign citizen. At the time, Turtleboy and Chile were working together against Kate. So that's my only interaction with Turtleboy is watching him. Justice Smith says there is no O'Keefe case anymore. I mean, well, technically, yeah. I mean that's the reality of it. Yes. Realities with Chris Marie saying the John's case is unsolved. I hope the feds are building a case. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they build a case. The Karen Reed case is reasonable doubt. You had this woman you kept on 2 separate murder trials with 2 separate prosecutors. That's reasonable doubt there all day long. They can't catch anybody else. It's not really going to do anything, absent a confession. Kathy, your realtor living in Jersey, says for $5, you are hysterical, Sean. Thanks. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. I try. I try to make it. It's one thing to be informative, but if you're just informative, that can be boring. What is the chance Turtleboy takes down Norfolk County? I think he has a better than 50-50. I mean, I guarantee you Michael Morrissey is shitting bricks over this. Man Rezu says Turtleboy will be coming on. No, please don't say statements like that. Nothing. I have not talked to him. Please don't jerk people around like that. So Edward Scott says, would I ever want a case is messed up as a defense attorney? Hell yeah. I want to make these people suffer and pay. I envy Brady. I envy Mark Bederow. This is the shit to do, man. This is the shit to do. Like, it's one thing you can get a jury verdict or you can leverage some evidence to suppress things, but when you can take people, these scumbags, and light them on fucking fire, literally, and just burn things down left and right, yeah. This is like Karen's case. This is the shit we dream of. You get a cross with Shannon Burgess and Shannon Burgess got fucked to death in open court. Robert Alessi was like a horse, and Shannon Burgess like Mr. Hands. Mr. Hands Burgess got fucked to death in court in front of the world. I mean, you'd love to be able to do that. You'd love to be able to do that. Those guys got to do the shit you hear stories of old timers talking about they've done once in their 35, 40-year career. We don't get that. So I'd love to have this opportunity. I would love to have this opportunity. The problem is when your client tells you, oh my God, it's a big fucking conspiracy, and you get to the bottom of it, you're like, no, you're just a fucking idiot normally. So there's no conspiracy. So Robin Hood says old timers, yeah, like attorneys who have been there forever, 30, 35, 40 years practicing. They could tell you some great stories. Maddie says, if I ever ended up with a client and we had a case like this, would you ever try to get it streamed? No. Nope. Nope. That would be my client's decisions. And number one. Number two, I would not stream it. I think that would be very unethical. I think it would take away from my ability to properly represent my client. And I think it would just draw into question my loyalties to my client. So no, that's why these cases you guys have seen me, in particular, one place in Conneaut, Ohio at municipal court there, I will never tell you I'm going there. My clients did not sign up for that. And it's not fair to them. So I can never tell you. Now, if I happen to take a case that catches media attention, God bless. But I will never do it on its own because that's not right. I don't think it's right. Now, my client is like Turtleboy and he starts raising holy hell and doing shit all over the internet. That's his call. I ain't gonna get involved in that. And then he says like, hey, I want to invite my attorney on, Sean, and I'll come and jump on his show. But I won't like dual stream it to my channel and I won't talk about it on my channel. So that I'm just saying that's how it works. Yes, it's a problem for me, but it's great content for you. So Panzer Dude says, I'm repping Destiny for all the rapes in Ohio. You guys joke about this shit. I'll defend whoever the fuck comes in the door. If I get appointed, c'est la vie. But if I get hired, hell yeah. Destiny comes in and tells me, hey, Sean, I got convicted of a crime. Here's a stack of cash. Make it happen. We're fucking saddling up, bro. We'll saddle up. I don't care. It's all in the game. It's all in the game. As the warrior poet of Baltimore, Maryland, or known as Bodymore Murderland, Omar Little once said, it's all in the game. Show money, get shot. Well, normally that's how it works for most attorneys. You show money and they show up. Karen says, TB, Turtleboy is the right person at the right time with the right personality to take on these court cases. But he doesn't fold. Yes, he is a unique person in a unique position. As the G-Man says, the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. Welcome back, Mr. Freeman. Welcome back. Yes, you got the briefcase. I got the briefcase. He's got the shotgun. Yeah. Stacks of cash always make me happy. Yep. When somebody comes in with their stacks on deck, it's never a bad day. One thing you get when you're hiring me are straight margins and justified type. Yes. Oh. Let me see here. I want to be the lawyer of Breaking Bad. Well, it didn't work out for Saul at the end, so I wouldn't want to be the lawyer like Saul. He ended up working at a fucking coffee shop somewhere. Because didn't he go to witness protection? I forget. Elizabeth Dunbar says that's because you have what so many people in the legal profession are lacking, simply put, ethics. There's a far more ethical lawyers than a lot of people like to think or realize. There's a lot of good lawyers out there. It's just a lot of lawyers might not take certain cases or do certain things, but they're honest and upfront about it. Ariel, hey, how you doing? How are you doing? Hope you're well. I was about to say hope you're doing well, but it looks like this isn't correct. But the judge at my court decided I didn't do enough to be admitted to practice after I filed an appeal she disagrees with. So now I can't go to court. Lol. Fuck, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I wish there was something I could do, but I know you're out west in, the hinterlands, doing stuff on the res. But anyways, sorry to hear that, but hey, now you know how to fight, and that's always a good thing too. So I hope that gets sorted out for you. Speaking of margins, did you ever unfuck the typewriter? It's cleaned up. I need to get a ribbon for it and some other stuff, but it looks like mechanically it's sound, so there's not an issue there. So, Ashley Casey's been a member for 24 months. Let's go. That's those numbers are always flattering, chat. They're always flattering and humbling. They're flattering, but yeah, mainly humbling. Ashley Casey says, wish me a happy birthday. It's tomorrow. You'll be 42. Well, Ashley, happy birthday. You're 42. Congrats. You know, for another 42 more at minimum, maybe even, 42 more at least. So happy birthday. Hope you get to enjoy it with your family and those you care about. Scorpion says that general counsel should have been in that FBI meeting. They weren't there for her in their capacity as Boston police. And she worked for Canton at the time of the John O'Keefe. That's weird. Yeah, but you don't need somebody from Canton there. You need just whoever, whatever department she's there with has the right to be there. So that's not really a problem, in my opinion. So, Polly Popcorn says, if you're a member of a policeman's union, should you trust their lawyer or have your own lawyer? Well, if that's part of your union dues, go towards I get counsel if I need it. Now, is it always if you could afford your own? Is that always better? Well, it's a way to guarantee and make sure you're not getting fucked over. But you would have a reasonable belief that that person's your attorney. Now, once again, this is always a fair question. Never talk to the cops. And if there's ever an attorney involved saying, well, do I have an attorney? Who's my attorney? And make sure that's in writing somewhere. Because if the person walks in and says, hi, I'm from the union, I'm your attorney, you want that in writing. You want proof of that. Because if he tries to fuck you over, that attorney's in trouble. So it's never a bad idea to clarify who represents who. Because you force people to give you that answer. And if you don't have an attorney, you say, I'm not doing anything till I get an attorney. So yes, there might be times where you get your own lawyer anyway. Ariel says, I'm great. I'm usually here just listening. Well, I understand, but it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Ashley says, oh God, I don't want to live to be 84. Okay, well, take my birthday wish and just adjust it to whatever date you want to die. You can now type about his struggle on a German typewriter. No, but I will, once we get it fixed up and I get a ribbon and we're going to have to 3D print a front edge for it. I'm probably going to put it up here in the back somewhere. I will type emotion out on it just so I can say I did that. I think that'll be fun. So. Coke Fairy says there's no case you would never take on. Nope. As in there's nothing you will not defend or do you have moral limits. Nope. Nope. You call me tomorrow and say, hey, Sean, the cops are at my house and they're digging up the 35 4-year-olds I have buried in the crawl space that I murdered. And also there's evidence I raped them all to death and then murdered them and buried them and chopped them up and buried them. Okay, cool. Not, you could be Khalid Sheikh Mohammed charged with plotting 9/11. I'll defend you. I mean, if it's out of my depth, sure, I might say I can't represent you. If there's a major death penalty case, I might be well, I'd be happy to be a co-counsel or a second chair. But yeah, otherwise, no, I would never. There's nothing. My job is not to pass judgment on you. It's not my job. So. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying it's not. My job is to help people and represent people. And I personally don't have limits for that. I know some people do. There are many attorneys, they don't like doing sex cases or whatever it is. And it's I get it. I get it. And I respect that. I totally respect that because they're honest about what they won't work on. There are attorneys I know who won't they won't take a certain type of case. There are attorneys where when I worked in Toledo, when I was in Toledo as a young attorney, you'd show up to court, you'd show up to the cattle calls, the court dockets to get appointed cases for some of the judges because some of the judges would appoint who's there. And every once in a while, there were cases that would get appointed, and you know, the judge would look at it and he'd go through everything, and he'd call up an attorney and he'd just look at you and say, like, are you okay with taking this? And there was one time, the first time I got something from this judge, he said, hey, this is a felonious assault. Like, are you okay taking this? And I said, well, like, is there something wrong with it? He's like, well, no, I'm just saying some people don't like very violent felonies, and this one sounds pretty gory and gruesome. Are you okay with that? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I'm totally cool with that. He's like, all right, cool. Here you go. Take it. But yes, some attorneys don't take cases involving kids, you know, child pornography, whatever it is. They don't like doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're true to yourself, that's all that matters. It's all that matters. I respect those people. Coke Fairy saying that's a fair, proper defense lawyer. Well, anybody. Well, as long as you're honest with your clients and you're honest with yourself, it's fair and proper. That, you know, there's, like I said, attorneys who don't do child pornography cases. They don't do cases involving sex assaults. Okay, cool. Nick Rekieta even mentioned that, like, he didn't like representing people who committed DUI because he was worried that, you know, let's say he helped that guy and they won, that guy could injure his family or other people. You have every right to make that position and make that moral stand. And I respect it because you enforce it. Now, if you don't do anything about it and you silently hate this guy and you're like, well, I'm going to torpedo the case and fuck him over because I think he's a piece of shit. Well, that's where I have a problem. But everybody who does that and is honest about it and open about it is a proper lawyer, I would argue. Gixter Squid is saying everyone has a right to a fair trial. True. Public defenders take many cases they never touch but legally defend. I disagree, man. The public defenders' offices you will find in America, almost for the majority of them, are the diehards, the fanatical believers in things, in your constitutional rights. Like, you want Mr. ACLU, that's where you're going to find them, is in public defenders' offices. They are the truest of the true believers you will find for the most part. I mean, the idea of like an overworked public defender who kind of doesn't care. Yeah, you find them, and they exist. The stereotype exists for a reason. It's true. But you're also going to find the zealots. You're going to find the zealots more often than not in a PD's office. I'm a no-limit soldier. That's right, chat. A no-limit soldier. No limit on the buffet and no limit on the crime. Iman Reza said, if as a lawyer, my only boundaries would be racial. Well, you'd have a problem with that. Because you can't do that. That actually gets you disciplined. You can't discriminate based on race like that. So. Bamela says, I don't do child cases, so bias doesn't come into it. And I don't want to murder my client. Other than that, I'm good. Yeah, and you know what? As long as I respect that. I totally respect it. Jordan says, I don't take clients who refuse to wear pants. Okay. Yeah, that's what somebody comes in and signs a retainer agreement. I look at him and be like, look, so you came in today. Now, when you come in, you better have to take your pants off. And I won't talk to you. That's Snoop is saying, I'll defend Hitler, Diablo, and Morgoth if you pay me enough. Well, not really if you pay me enough. It's just, it'd be the same case regardless of who it is. Like, a murder is a murder is a murder. So. Sean has proof whores and lawyers are more alike than any other profession. I mean, yes, attorneys are just like your mom. They are. Tech Guy South says, would you defend Nick? I mean, if we didn't have a history, sure. Yeah. If the history between us didn't exist, yeah, 100% I would defend him. I would argue now it would be unethical for me to defend him because of my personal feelings about him. But yeah, otherwise, 100% I would. Like I told you, there's nothing people can do that I'm going to find so repugnant they don't deserve a defense or my ability to defend them. So. Yeah, I don't have to agree with what they do to represent them 100%. That's true. I'm not endorsing them. I'm not asking you to pin a Citizen of the Year medal on them. I'm not asking you to give them the key of the city. I'm just saying I don't think the government did their job. Snoop is saying, I'm going to quibble about semantics. Like, just, we need to kind of like tighten up here just a little bit. We're going to tighten up. I want you to tighten up on me here. This is a neat little thing for you. That's what lawyers do. We argue about semantics. That's the fucking job. That's the name of the game, is arguing about semantics. Like that's what we do. Just saying. People are mad at the Kohlberger woman defense attorneys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sandy says, wow, that hits different. What? Which part does? Do you see the Washington state adjusted the amount of cases their PDs can take? That's a good thing. Hopefully it's a downward adjustment, because a lot of those guys are getting overworked and they're refusing to take cases, which is good on them for standing up for their clients. And also the guys who are getting appointed to them by saying, I can't represent them ethically because I have too much on my plate. Like, I applaud that when they do that. It's always good to see. Big ups from me over here on the channel. Did you see the Massachusetts public defender shortages issue? That's not a new thing. I don't know about specifically Massachusetts, but staffing, funding, and then workloads. Those are the three things that plague most public defenders' offices. Staffing is not always, because a lot of people need work, but the funding and the workloads are certainly like number 1 and 2. So. I respect the Constitution as long as you can pay me. You get the same work out of me as if I'm court appointed or retained. So try harder. I would defend Hitler if he made it to Nuremberg. Yeah, sure. Why not? You got a point. Like, if I got a point to defend Ernst Kaltenbrunner. All right, let's go do it. Let's run it. What can we do? My ethics are like beefsteak gravy. Yes, thick and savory. Your Honor, the defendant knew their mind would be reduced to mush if they recited the words of the old gods. My client Cthulhu did nothing wrong. Therefore, I rest and flick my suspenders. Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, J-Rock, Brian Koberg's attorneys may have saved his life by getting him to plea. Bama Law says Kentucky allows their PDs to have 400, 600 active cases a year. That's so wrong. That's way too fucking many. If you're a prosecutor, I don't really give a shit. That's suffer prosecutor. But if you're doing PD work, that's not fair. That is fucking horrible. That is so horrible. Would Nick defend Nigel Stepney free of charge? Okay, who did he do? Who? I don't know. I forget. I don't know the name, but what did he do? He's been dead. Are you talking about the British mechanic? What did he do? For the F1 espionage stuff? Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be total fucking fun. Are you kidding me? I would so defend industrial espionage like that. So I would totally do that. Let's see here. Yeah, I just want to make sure. I don't remember his name, but I remember, yes, the Ferrari scandal. But no, I'd love to be able to be the lawyers who do the F1 lawyering. That sounds like so much fun. You just sit there and argue with the F1 rule book. Like, that totally sounds like a fun job. It totally sounds like a fun job. Did you talk about that bone retard yet? No, we haven't gotten there yet because this kind of came out and I was like, ooh, this is a lot more like timely. The Parker Bone thing, we'll work on that coming up here. So we'll do that this week, maybe like Tuesday night. We'll take a look at it. So, and we're going to take a look at his vindictive prosecution motion because I think it tells you a lot of what happened. Yeah, it's a case Alan Jackson is defending. Guy's accused of like run over 4 chicks on the PCH. And he claims he was being chased by a guy in a road rage incident. So, let's see here. I think we're caught up, though. Tech guy says, well, Hitler died in Argentina. Yes. I mean, if he really died at that house in Bariloche that's on the lake, I mean, based. I'd love to go to that house. So. All right. Yeah, Ari Jacob has covered that case from day one. Yes. And Ari Jacob gave me all the documents for that. She gave me the transcript of the preliminary hearing, which that might be a separate video in all of its own. But the vindictive prosecution motion is definitely worth looking at. But yeah, she's been covering it from day one. She's had close ties with the defense team, seems like. So chat, with that said, we're going to wrap this up. We are going to get ready to do some model stuff here. Let's see. Yes, Golden Age, yes. Bariloche is the same altitude as at the Berghoff, yes. I know, I've watched the Tim Kennedy show, too. Finding Hitler, or whatever it was. So, 100%. But guys, with that said, we are going to wrap this up. If you guys are new, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Very shortly, we're going to do some model streaming. We're going to work on painting the helicopter up. We got to get a bunch done. So we'll get this out. Torgo, so Richard Barris put out a thing on locals. The Trump is effing up the Epstein response. Well, yeah, it's bad. He needs to change course quick. William Wall says, I'm going to be on Flashcast tonight. I mean, I don't even know what is Flashcast about tonight. It's about if it's about the Superman movie, I haven't watched it, so probably not. Let's see. Yellow Flash 2. The Trump backlash gets worse. I mean, I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. I mean, if I'm working on the model and Flash kind of hollers, like if I can throw some insight in there, sure. But I mean, really, it's about Superman, and I'm like, I don't watch it. I think Superman sucks as far as superheroes go. So ain't watching it. So, yeah, other than that, chat, I will see you guys later. Please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And we'll be doing more of this as we get going because Turtleboy is far from over. So remember, chat, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. That includes Turtleboy. 100% not guilty. He's innocent as fuck. Karen Reed, innocent as fuck. Kelly Dever, guilty of perjury. Kate Peter, guilty of a lot of things, including being an awful fucking human being. So, with that said, chat, good night, and you guys take care. Oh, why is this playing? No.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick Hayden yelled at? Why, yes, it was. He
2 scoops of destroyers, but remember, 33 months. Those are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. That's a lot of support. It's a long time, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Torgo the White for 20 months. Says, don't forget to suffer, chat. That's right. Don't forget to suffer.